Hey there guys, so the last time in the anime, we saw a few kids who dreamt of becoming the strongest hunters, made their wish come true in a few years after they officially became hunters. They named their party Grieving Souls, and everyone in the party were skilled enough to be called a monster, except for their leader Cry. He saw this and once tried to leave the party. But his party decided to make him the leader to tie him down, and in just a few years they made a name for themselves and now they were recruiting new members for the clan they created. Their Cry meets Tino, who's a disciple of one of his friends, and she's totally into him, but Cry was so dense that he always failed to see that. Anyways, he threw a ring at all the hunters and told them whoever gets this ring will be recruited, and that made a mess in the pub, so as a punishment for this, Cry had to do a job for the Hunter Association and he chose a rescue mission, for which he asked Tino to complete it, and she thought Cry would join her in it. But Cry crushed her hope as he had already made a team for Tino. Poor girl. Anyways, 6 years ago, Cry was hesitant to even step into the Hunter Association. So Luke takes the first steps ahead to make a banging entry to let everyone there know he's the strongest swordsman, and next was Liz. And she also announced she's the best thief in the world to make their entry even more embarrassing. Cry was super embarrassed and went to the registration counter, where he had to mention the name and crest of his party to register because it becomes the signature of their party. So Cry named the party Grieving Soul and puts a skull mask as crest. It was a shady and dark name so no one liked it, but Cry said if they didn't like it, he had to leave the party because that's what he could come up with. And all of them changed their tune in an instant, so that's how Grieving Souls was born. Then back to the present, others couldn't believe that Cry was the leader of the First Step Plan. His nickname was Thousand Tricks. A nickname is given to only those who Akai's greatest achievements and status as a hunter. That's why for a hunter it's a greatest praise. But Gilbert has a different opinion. He thinks Cry was nothing but a fake. Tino didn't like it in the least that the guy is wasting his life in oblivion, so she rejected to work with him. But still Cry asked the three if they would help Tino out with, but Gilbert rejected it because he thinks Cry is not the strongest hunter. Greg tried to stop him but Gilbert was too prideful. So Cry leaves Gilbert behind because he doesn't want to join the party, so he tells Tino to take anyone else from the clan, and she wants Cry to join in but Cry rejected it. So Gilbert challenges Cry for a duel and states that he'll join only if he beats him, so Cry sends the party leader since he'd have to listen to her. Tino was at the same level as Gilbert, but she decided to hold back and fight barehanded. Tino gained her powers on her own while Gilbert was with his party, so Tino was clearly more powerful, but Gilbert felt insulted, so he decided to go barehanded as well. There Tino wanted to have ice cream with Cry once she wins and started sulking. So Cry promises to treat her to it once the job gets done. Gilbert couldn't hold a candle against Tino at all, yet in the second time Tino restrains the guy. After that she told Gilbert to worship Cry as his god and he had it enough, but Tino quickly immobilized him, so Tino told him to use his sword if he wants to keep going, but Gilbert refused to, which was disappointing. Gilbert himself knew about the power gap, and Cry knew Gilbert left his last party because others were too powerful from him. It was the same for him too. But no one was abandoned in Grieving Souls. That's how they became the strongest party. And their Cry just kicked on Gilbert's sword and started to control the Purgatory Sword's flame like it was nothing. Even Gilbert himself hadn't been able to control it to the point Cry was controlling it. It was thanks to mana material. They are core materials of this world, but they can't be seen with the naked eye and exist in the vaults, and the White Wolf's Den is one of those vaults where mana materials are found. But it was vault taken over by the phantom blood-soaked wolf, a dangerous place, and Cry made Tino go there. He thinks the party will do a good job. And as for the way he controlled the flames were thanks to a relic. They are the lifeline of the sky. But then Cry thought of buying another relic like Gilbert's sword and Eva declines it because he already has too many relics. Every relic had a different usage, so Cry wanted to have some more. So Eva reminds him that even though his party earns hefty sum of money, he should restrain a bit of his spending. All the party members gets equal share. So even though Cry doesn't do much, he earns a considerable amount of money. That he remembers his relic needs recharge, so he went over to a mage of a clan member. There he heard that a level 3 party got killed by a strong phantom near White Wolf Den, and word has it that phantom came out of there. That's why the association is now discussing changing the level of White Wolf Den, and recently, Rudolph's party went there and got missing. He was a level 5 and that's the rescue mission Cry had accepted. They were level 5 and Cry told them what he did to Tino, and they thought Cry did to Tino to train her. Cry told them he had sent a party with her as well, and they thought this must be the training method of grieving souls. Cry knew he messed up big this time, more so he remembers he used the fire magic of Gilbert's sword, so if Gilbert hadn't recharged the sword magic, then that's it for them. Our party had traveled halfway through and Tino had written a will in case she dies. Cry had made this party after careful consideration, she thinks. But Greg had a hard time believing on it because they just met the other day, and Gilbert was with Greg, but he remembers Cry knew why he left his previous party, and that's what Tino was saying. Cry knows about almost all the hunters in the capital even if he never met them. On second thought, Greg believes that could be the case because Cry is a calculated guy. And Tino believes Cry would never send them to an impossible mission, but he actually did, and Cry was comforting himself that they'll get through it. Especially Tino because she won't give up that easily, yet it's already too late to call for backup. But even before that, they were attacked by the wolf phantom. And Cry was gathering all of his useful relics to go to Tino as fast as he could. Eva saw this and she knew Cry is worried for the party, so he's going out to check up on them. But one relic he had was dangerous, yet Cry took it because he didn't have enough relics filled with mana. With it he took off with a magic cape to save Tino, but that cape had no brakes. Plus he left the relic bag behind. And that is where our episode 2 comes to an end, but stay tuned to watch more of its episode, so subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Till then, take care.